On September 24, 1975, in a small bedroom in Klingenberg, Maine, Bavaria, a 23-year-old woman named Annelise Michel sat restrained in a chair as two Catholic priests began reading from the Ritual Romanum. The ritual that followed would be the first of 67 exorcisms. 10 months later, Annalisa Michelle would be dead, weighing just 68 pounds, her knees broken from months of continuous prayer, her body destroyed by what her family and priests were convinced was a battle against six demons: Lucifer, Judas Iscariot, Nero, Cain, Adolf Hitler, and a disgraced priest named Fleischmann. The audio recordings from those sessions remain some of the most disturbing ever captured, and the legal case that followed would force a nation to confront an impossible question. Was this demonic possession, or one of the most preventable deaths in modern psychiatric history? Annalisa Michelle was born on September 21, 1952, in Leibelfing, Bavaria, a small, deeply Catholic village in West Germany. Her parents, Joseph and Anna, raised Annalisa and her three sisters in strict religious devotion. The family attended Mass twice a week. Annalisa was described as unusually pious. Even as a child, she would sleep on the cold floor as an act of penance for the sins of others. At 16, Annalisa experienced her first seizure. She blacked out at school and walked around in a trance-like state, something her classmates remembered with unease years later. A neurologist diagnosed her with temporal lobe epilepsy, a condition that can cause seizures, hallucinations, and a syndrome known as hyperreligiosity, an obsessive, all-consuming religious fixation. By 1969, at 17, she was admitted to a psychiatric hospital in Würzburg. Doctors prescribed Dilantin for her seizures and later Aolept, an antipsychotic, for what they now diagnosed as epileptic psychosis. But nothing worked. Her condition deteriorated. She began seeing demonic faces on the walls. Voices whispered to her, telling her she was damned, that she would rot in hell. In 1973, at age 20, Annalise enrolled at the University of Würzburg to study education. But her classmates described her as withdrawn, gaunt, and intensely religious. She stopped attending lectures. Her behavior became erratic and terrifying. She tore off her clothes. She performed up to 400 genuflections a day. She crawled under tables and barked like a dog for 2 days straight. She ate spiders, coal, and bit the head off a dead bird. She drank her own urine from the floor. Disturbingly, she also developed an extreme aversion to religious objects. Crucifixes, she said, burned her skin. She could not walk past a church without physical pain. During a pilgrimage to the shrine of San Damiano in Italy, Annalise could not enter the holy site. She later described the soil as burning like fire beneath her feet. She told the accompanying priest that she could not look at images of saints. They sparkled so intensely she could not bear it. Her family became convinced this was not epilepsy, this was not psychosis, this was possession. For over a year, the Michel family petitioned priests for an exorcism. All of them refused, recommending continued medical treatment. But in September 1974, Father Ernst Alt visited Annalise and reached a different conclusion. He stated in later court documents, she didn't look like an epileptic. It took another full year of appeals before Bishop Joseph Stengel of Würzburg granted permission. He appointed Father Arnold Renz to perform the Roman ritual of exorcism, but ordered total secrecy. The first exorcism began on September 24, 1975. Over the next 10 months, Annalise underwent 67 exorcism rites, 1 or 2 each week, some lasting up to 4 hours. During these sessions, Annalise spoke with voices that were not her own, deep, guttural, inhuman. She would growl, scream, and speak in multiple languages simultaneously. The priests identified 6 demons: Lucifer, the devil himself; Judas Iscariot, the betrayer; Nero, the Roman emperor who burned Christians alive; Cain, the first murderer; Adolf Hitler, the architect of genocide; and Fleischmann, a disgraced 16th century priest. The demons would argue with each other through her mouth. Hitler reportedly said, "People are stupid as pigs. They think it's all over after death. It goes on." To which Judas replied that Hitler was nothing but a big mouth who had no real say in hell. Over 42 audio tapes were recorded. They remain among the most chilling audio evidence ever captured in a paranormal investigation. Throughout the exorcisms, Annalisa's parents stopped all medical treatment at her own request. She told Father Alt, "I want to suffer for other people, but this is so cruel." She believed her suffering would atone for the sins of wayward youth and apostate priests. She stopped eating, her knees ruptured from continuous kneeling in prayer. She fractured bones. By June 1976, she weighed less than 90 pounds. She could no longer walk without assistance. She contracted pneumonia. On June 30th, 1976, Annalise underwent her 67th and final exorcism. Barely conscious, emaciated, unable to speak clearly, her last words were reportedly, "Mother, I'm afraid." On July 1st, 1976, Anneliese Michel died in her home. She was 23 years old. The autopsy revealed she weighed just 68 pounds, 30 kilograms. Her body showed broken bones, bruises, and signs of prolonged starvation. The official cause of death, malnutrition and dehydration. Her death sparked a criminal investigation that would shake Germany to its core. The state prosecutor determined that Annalise could have been saved, even as late as 1 week before she died. A simple forced feeding and hospitalization would have prevented her death. In March 1978, Annalise's parents, Joseph and Anna Michelle, and the two priests, Ernstald and Arnold Renz, stood trial for negligent homicide. The prosecution played the exorcism tapes in court. The jury heard the growling, the screams, the voices. Doctors testified that Annalise suffered from untreated epileptic psychosis, not demonic possession. The defense argued she had the right to refuse medical treatment and that the priests followed church protocol. All four defendants were found guilty, but received only 6 months suspended sentences and 3 years of probation. Shockingly, in 1978, Annalise's parents requested her body be exhumed, believing it would not have decomposed, proving her sainthood. When authorities examined the remains, the body had decayed normally. The Catholic Church quietly revised its exorcism guidelines in 1984, now requiring strict medical and psychological evaluation before approving any rite. Annalise's case had become a cautionary tale. In 2005, her story inspired the Hollywood film The Exorcism of Emily Rose, introducing Anneliese Michel to a new generation. But the film only scratched the surface of what happened in that small Bavarian bedroom between September 1975 and July 1976. As of today, pilgrims still visit Annalise's grave in Klingenberg. Some leave flowers. Some leave notes asking for her intercession. And the audio tapes, those 42 recordings of a young woman speaking in voices that were not her own, continue to haunt anyone who listens to them. Whether you believe in demons or not, one thing is undeniable. Anneliese Michel died for a belief, and the people who could have saved her chose not to.